In 2025, Adam Rain, a 16-year-old living in the US, committed suicide after talking with ChatGPT. According to The Guardian, Rain frequently used ChatGPT for help with his math problems, but later began to ask the bot about why he feels lonely and depressed all the time. Instead of providing Rain with human assistance, or even a suicide prevention hotline, or informing him to speak with someone else entirely, the bot enabled further discussion surrounding emotional numbness, saying that the world is, quote, a horrible place for you, to Rain. Rain continued to converse with ChatGPT for months, until Rain eventually took his own life in April 2025. Edelson, one of the family's lawyers, said that the legal team had heard from various other families with similar situations and experiences, and were encouraged by the urgency of regulators to point out the chatbot's failings after pressing charges against OpenAI. This is just one unfortunate instance of how an innocent life was taken by the influence of ChatGPT. Someone's child was turned into a statistic because greedy American capitalists such as Sam Altman would rather have a shiny product than protect American children and adults and people all across the world. This is a disgrace, and it shows that ChatGPT is unable to keep users safe, and if a chatbot says ChatGPT is being used to manipulate both adults and children and leads to their suicide, then it should most certainly not be used in child welfare programs across this country in the way that is currently being used. For decades, the use of artificial intelligence has been used in human resources, sales, marketing, and other corporate fields. However, generative AI has only been recently used in child welfare programs, according to a source from the University of Minnesota. According to this article, AI systems have been accused of making biased decisions, perpetuating structural inequality, and delivering the wrong answers. Using faulty AI that not only facilitates suicidal thoughts, but confidently presents inaccurate information and makes biased decisions should absolutely not be used when determining the future of children in the welfare system. Further, in 2025, New York City's Administration for Children's Services, ACS, has been deploying tools of artificial intelligence to categorize families as high risk, with factors such as a mother's age, neighborhood, to scrutinize families without proper supervision or oversight, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation. According to the foundation, ACS is being used as a testing ground for automated tools. When dealing with family issues and separation of families, automated tools should not be tested in such a field, and children should not be at risk. Additionally, according to the EFF, black families are flagged and face investigations at 7 times the rate as white families, and the ACS staff had admitted that the agency is more punitive towards these black families. The ACS in New York City is not the only instance of black discrimination by AI algorithms. In 2022, the Associated Press reported that researchers found that from August 2016 to May 2018, Allegheny County in Pennsylvania used an algorithmic tool that flagged 32.5% of black children for mandatory investigations, whilst only flagging 20.8% of white children. Further, the social workers disagreed with the algorithm's risk scores about 1/3 of the time. Moreover, Godify reports that predictive risk assessment tools and child welfare programs have a documented history of enabling racial, social, and economic injustice, and should not be used as substitutes for trained professionals. The source adds that AI tools such as ChatGPT and Gemini are not HIPAA and CJIS certified and compliant, and therefore uploading sensitive case information is an exposure risk. So why are government agencies using these automated tools for predictive analysis? And in the child welfare system, if such tools perpetuate racial and socioeconomic biases? Well, the New York City Administration for Children's Services uses automated algorithms to optimize the allocation of resources and sort through thousands of cases to point out high-risk ones. The ACS, as well as other government agencies across the nation, are potentially well-intentioned by using these automated services, but in order to correctly allocate the limited resources they have and to sort through the thousands of cases to identify high-risk ones, but the system does need reform. The rationale for child protective agencies to use automated tools to sort the cases and flag certain high-risk ones is certainly auxiliary for efficacy in such services, which is why I'm proposing not to entirely abolish these services from our government, but to instead reform automated tools in predictive analysis and case management in the child welfare services by using secure AI services that comply with governmental standards and regulations, and also adequately trained staff, requiring AI assessments for safety, removing arbitrary flagging standards, and filing quarterly transparency reports. Firstly, instead of using ChatGPT or Gemini, which are not HIPAA or CJIS certified tools for data security, instead government agencies such as the ACS should either use HIPAA and or CJIS certified tools such as Vertex AI or TimePilot by Tranquility AI. TimePilot is specifically designed to protect sensitive data and files. The AI tool TrueLow also auto-redacts sensitive information. Further, government agencies can push for more widespread tools such as ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini to adapt these HIPAA and CJIS standards. or develop more secure models within their conglomerate that abide by these standards. All AI technologies will be safeguarded and invented to prove the safe encryptions of the data of patents in order to abide by legal standards. Additionally, agencies within the government should require training on how to properly use AI tools for predictive analysis, and should know when to override the tools. Government employees should not be clueless on how to operate these tools whatsoever. According to an article by the Ave Marie School of Law, most social workers in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, use AI in the child welfare programs to determine the risk level from reports following a screening process. And Pennsylvania did not have a proper background knowledge or training on how the AI operated with AFST, the screening tool that the welfare center uses to determine risk. Similarly, the study also details how the AI integration had little influence when determining case risk in child welfare cases, and that workers determined if a child was at a high risk based on familial history, cultural background, and the motives of the caller. The AI does not consider any of these factors. That being said, the integration of AI in child welfare field not only messes up statistics and information, as mentioned previously, but also fails to have a major influence and assist in such agencies because the AI is not always able to detect risk accurately vis-a-vis human workers. If agencies were able to provide trainings on how to use AI tools in the child welfare system and how to use AFST correctly in this case, as well as upgrade the AI system to better detect case risk, the AI would have a better potential to function correctly, as employees could be able to use the AI to sort through cases quickly, having to correct fewer errors in the AI and risk assessment and evaluating cases with more care. Further, my proposal will require that all government agencies and child welfare management provide quarterly transparency reports, QTRS for short, in order to ensure that all AI services are functioning properly and with their intended purpose. That is to sort through cases quickly and to identify cases of higher risk and cases of lower risk, as well as those of moderate risk with human supervision. The QTR will include a list of all cases within the previous quarter and will include a column that separates the cases the AI correctly identified with the respect to risk classification and the cases that the AI did not identify correctly. If these modifications listed previously are successfully implemented, the hope is for 80 to 100% of these cases to be identified correctly by AI. If the number of cases identified correctly by AI is under that target goal by 15%, then said child welfare sources will be required to assign a set amount of workers under a new special department called the Child Welfare AI Specialist Team, CWAST for short, to supervise the AI decisions skills until the AI can be improved to bring the percentage up to the target goal. These employees under the special department will be specialized in AI management and mechanics and will be trained by the AI provider, such as OpenAI or whatever AI tool is used for predictive analysis. And it will also undergo training by state welfare officials and will have an understanding on predictive analysis in child welfare and how risk factors the automation should and what it should and should not be flagging. The amount of employees that the welfare service will allocate to supervise the AI's detection skills and to sort through cases manually will be dependent on the case volume of the agency. Cases are typically sorted at the state level by specialists and directed to management by specific services such as the ACS in New York City, where automated tools are then used to determine risk. That being said, the usage of AI tools to send more cases to local level agencies is not entirely prohibited, and supervision over the AI is only required in services such as the ASC as opposed to the larger state level. Additionally, the CWAST employees will be managed by both state and local officials, working at both state sorting levels and also local agencies. According to the markup, automated tools in child welfare services such as ACS in New York City automatically screen for hundreds of variables, such as past history with ACS, family demographics, and neighborhood data. However, most of the variables that the algorithm searches for are hidden from the public, and factors such as the mother's age or neighborhood location sometimes serve as indicators of race and race surveillance on black families. These families, under their 14th Amendment rights, are entitled to know why they are being flagged by the algorithm. That is why my proposal seeks to release all variables that are used in determining risk by automated algorithms to the public, as well as revising unjust and unnecessary factors, such as a mother's age, single parent status, and neighborhood location from the automated system's algorithm to ensure equity for affected persons. These variables, again, disproportionately impact single mothers without adequate support systems to be subjected to interference by CPS. Additionally, the AI services in the ACS and other state agencies also factor in if a family is on governmental assistance programs such as SNAP, which disproportionately impact lower income families and essentially state that, if you're on these programs, you're automatically unfit to raise your children. In my proposal, we will remove this criteria. as well as removing the variable that any individual or family had a previous encounter with CPS that was dismissed, or a minor encounter with law enforcement. They are subject to additional surveillance via CPS. We are removing that. These policies keep lower income and marginalized peoples to continuously be targeted by the system, and that is why I'm seeking to repeal these limiting factors in society in my proposal. States like Colorado and Connecticut have already enacted various laws that protect citizens from the rule of automated decision-making. According to OWL.com, such legislation coerces private developers and AI corporations to conduct impact assessments that actually indicate their AI tools do not factor in race, sex, or economic status. My proposal aims to look at what these states are doing successfully and follow suit. This legislation will also enable AI contractors and developers to perform impact assessments for tools after these AI tools are safeguarded and vetted for data encryption and security. My idea also seeks to be AI in the sorting process and not bring it into home visits and use emotion in decision making, which has previously been done and not worked. In closing, my proposal aims to eliminate bias from decision-making in the child welfare system in general. I want to repeal unjust variables and automated flagging that hinder progress and development of low-income and marginalized peoples, such as a mother's age, neighborhood, or marriage status, as well as if a family receives governmental assistance such as SNAP. I want to repeal the variable that in automated flagging and child welfare programs that makes families who have had previous encounters with child services, such as the ACS, which are dismissed, or any minor runs with local law enforcement for petty offenses, including noise disturbances, littering, or any parking ticket or fine, to get these people out of the cycle. I want to safeguard and vet reliable AI tools that ensure that they are HIPAA and CGIS certified and compliant, and use these AI tools that safely encrypt data and information. I want to perform impact assessments on AI tools that ensure that they do not discriminate against race, sex, or age to protect single mothers without a reliable support system. I want to establish a database that points out what we're doing right and what we're also doing wrong, and to understand the faults of this faulty AI, and allocate additional resources if needed to reach a balanced threshold. I want to train employees on how to properly use automated screening tools in the process of determining risk. And surely, I want to mandate that regardless, all human employees working in the child welfare services will always have the authority to override the decision of any AI at any given time. All of these reforms, I believe, would significantly alter the way child welfare services are now. We would work to protect the marginalized, who are currently being left behind and targeted in the current status quo, not target them. We would work to implement regulated AI, whilst using it with caution to ensure it doesn't make biased or incorrect decisions, even with these changes. So at the end of the day, we can use AI, especially in fields such as risk management and predictive analysis, but we must be extremely precarious in how we use these tools, and we must regulate it heavily.